I heard he was light-skinned, stocky, with a Haitian accent.
And that's where he made his biggest mistake.
They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers.
Okay, what are we doing here?
In today's music news, the ever-controversial Tupac Shakur has just released another album under the alias Machiavelli. Resources tell me a number of less fortunate rappers have joined together in conspiracy to assassinate the character of not only Mr. Shakur, but of Death Row Records as well.
It's not about East or West. It's about power and money, riders and punks. Which side are you on?
Everyone remembers Pac versus Biggie, but Tupac had more enemies than anyone in hip-hop history.
Pac was everything you've seen that the Black Panther Party was in one person.
Broken friendships, beefs, and betrayals defined the final years of his life. While Pac and Snoop were both stars and began their friendship as a team under the banner of Death Row Records, Tupac was simply bigger than anybody at the time and quickly overshadowed Snoop. All Eyes on Me dropped, California Love was everywhere, and this created tensions inside Death Row. Snoop was the #1 man, and he was dethroned. Tupac took his #1 spot at Death Row Records, and he was a movie star as well. You can clearly see in some of the last photos of them together, Snoop's dislike for Tupac.
Snoop was the big man and Dogg Pound. But a little bit down the road, yeah, it was obvious tension and it was uncomfortable. I've watched a few of his interviews where he said, hey man, I went to Suge and told him to bring Cuz over here. I believe he did. But I also believe, I gotta say, I think he brought him over there to be his Robin. I didn't think he was gonna come there. I didn't think he thought he was gonna come there and become Batman. I believe he became the #1, and Snoop thought that he would be his good sidekick, like his #2 guy. You know, like this would be a good 1-2 punch. But and in no time, Pac got there and became #1. That's what he wasn't second to nobody. This period, he took over fast. You know. His electricity was real, whether he was on a song or not. It was just his whole presence was there. He filled up the whole room. His energy was just unmatchable, bro. It took over fast. The feeling around the building was just, it was different, man. It was different. But it was, people had chosen, you know, their sides and were sticking to it. You know, but I do know that Suge said, but man, be respectful. This is the house that Snoop built. And so whatever the dialogue was before that, I don't know. I wasn't privy to that. But I remember him saying, yeah, but be respectful, man. This is the house that Snoop built. So it was a different vibe, man. He took over rapidly. He became #1 rapid, fast. That was for the interviewers, for sports people who came through, movie people who came through. They all wanted to go see Pac. They wanted to go whatever session he was in, whatever studio he was in. And sometimes it was almost like Snoop wasn't there. He went from the biggest thing in the world to now everybody's talking to Pac. Everybody knew it, man. It's like when you go out at night and look in the sky. You see stars everywhere, but every so once in a while you see one of them ones that's really bright, super, look closer and everything. That was Pac.
While Suge tried his best to keep things together inside Death Row Records, it was only going to get worse. It quickly went the other way when Snoop went on Angie Martinez Hot 97 radio show and said he has no beef with Bad Boy Records despite earlier doing diss tracks against Bad Boy.
Biggie Smalls, he's an artist that I listen to his music, I love his work. There's no beef, it's nothing personal. I don't hate him and I don't disrespect him.
Tupac was furious at Snoop and felt betrayed because his friend all of a sudden was praising the enemy. They fell out and they never repaired their relationship.
Well, I told Pac, but I say, I don't know if I think you're out of your league right now.
certain people was telling him, don't fuck with bro, you feel me? And the nigga was scandalous the whole time.
Because he had asked me about Jack. You know, and I had known Jack through Scooter. And he said, you out of your league.
Bro had a big mouth too. He was talking a lot of shit too.
Haitian Jack was a Brooklyn street gangster in the early 1990s with deep connections in both the streets and the music industry. Known for managing artists, throwing exclusive parties, and being respected, but also feared for his street reputation. Pac and Jack met in New York around 1993, and Tupac admired him. He was a street king who moved with celebrities. Sometime later, the incident in a hotel room with Ayanna Jackson happens. She accused them of sexual assault. Jack cut a deal with prosecutors, he avoided serious charges, and Pac, on the other hand, was convicted and sentenced to prison. Pac believed Jack orchestrated the situation. Just before he went to prison, he was ambushed, robbed, and shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan. People were telling him Haitian Jack was behind this.
I mean, you know, basically niggas hating on Pac, bro. You know what I mean? They, you know, niggas was hating on Pac, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So you seen Haitian Jack wearing Tupac jewelry after Tupac got shot at Quad?
Not a couple of days, the next day.
Pac had said some things and put himself on the outs. You feel me?
The reporter from the New York Times or from a magazine or whatever asked Pac, where are your hanger-ons? He called Jack a hanger-on.
That's what, for real?
Yeah, he called Jack, he said, where are your hanger-ons? Or some crazy.
Hey.
And Pac was like,
Jack would kill that motherfucker.
Yeah, but Pac was like, you know, I don't mess with him, he's this and he's that. It was disparaging towards Jack. And he was offended when he read about it in the newspaper. And that's what we believe caused that ambush in New York.
And Henchman them did that shit out of love for Jack.
Because once niggas felt like I wasn't fucking with them, so that umbrella is gone. Once the umbrella's gone, my nigga, you get rained on. And that's where he made his biggest mistake. You understand?
But I heard it from a very reliable source. I always thought Jack had commissioned that shit. But they say Jack had nothing. He didn't commission that. That was something that Henchman and me that automatically done out of love for Jack. I guess it had to maybe to do with the fact that dude might have paid him.
Who, Jack?
Puff might have paid Henchman or something.
And they was really trying to, you know, kill bro. They got shot 5 times. They wasn't trying to just play with him or nick him. They was trying to kill him. And by the grace of God, he survived that.
It's not extortion, right? What people don't realize, we don't go after these artists, they come to us.
Tupac later called out Haitian Jack on his diss track Against All Odds, and Jack was livid because he was called out by name and labeled a snitch on the track by Tupac publicly in front of the whole world.
That's what really broke my heart.
When Against All Odds dropped, it's a game changer. You know, because nobody ever talked about a street nigga like that.
I heard he was light-skinned, stocky, with a Haitian accent. Jewelry, fast cars, and he's known for flashing. Listen while I take you back and lace this rap. A real live tale about a snitch named Haitian Jack.
With Against All Odds, you basically opened up a new playbook. Now we talking real street shit.
Being called a snitch came from Suge. Suge told Tupac to say that shit about me. But Suge was a capitalist. He used Pac. Pac didn't even see it. The more attention Pac gets, and the more the record sales go up. Pac wouldn't have put no song like that out before he died, because then he'd have to see me, because I'm going to ask him some questions. That's not something I can let nobody get away with, dog. The code of the streets is this, man. If you got proof, then show it.
We all know Tupac was crazy sometimes, but he had no business in dealing with gangsters like Haitian Jack. On the other hand, it shows you how crazy and fearless Tupac was. Another point which further escalated this beef is that Madonna, who was with Haitian Jack at the time, left him and she was dating Tupac after. When Pac got out of prison in October 1995, it was Suge Knight who organized everything and signed him to death row. Pac was recording non-stop, creating tracks for All Eyes on Me. Dre contributed by giving Pac California Love, but Pac later said Dre wasn't really there for him in the studio.
Other niggas was producing the beat back on my album. Other niggas was doing the beat, and Dre was getting the credit. And I gotta go on MTV and be like, yeah, he did this, he did that. No, he ain't do it. He is a dope producer, but he ain't worked in years. And I got tired of that. I didn't think we needed that. I think we didn't need that. And he was owning the company too, and he's chilling. He owning the company, he's chilling this house, sucking big easy pussy. I'm out here in the street, you know what I mean? Whooping niggas' ass, starting wars, putting it down, dropping albums, doing my shit. And this nigga's taking 3 years to do one song.
Snoop was on trial for murder, fighting for his life. Somebody had said that Dre was in the car. The jury believed that. We needed Dre to be there to say he wasn't there. Once they would have saw him, they would have known he wasn't there. And that would have saved Snoop's whole case. Because they would have saw that the witness that had said it was lying. And Dre never showed up. He was too busy. That's how they told me. When they told me that, I was like, well, no matter how dope he is, and Dre's one of my heroes in the music business, but I was like, no matter how dope he is, if he's not down for his homeboy, Snoop brought him back when he was just a relic, when he was dissing, you know what I mean? Then I don't want to be a part of him. I don't want to be around him or nothing. Plus, I feel as though what's done in the dark will come to light. It's secrets that everybody's going to find out about that I don't have to play a hate or draw snitch about. That will come out, you'll find out for yourself, and you'll know why I did it. I swear to God, y'all, I'm living by the rules of the game, and y'all, the people, have put down for us to live by.
Death Row Records was becoming a gang hangout, and the presence of violence increased regularly. So Dre had enough and left Death Row in 1996, which was followed by several diss tracks in Dre's direction from Death Row.
Searching for paydays, no longer Dre Day. Like, check your sexuality, as fruity as the Salazar.
LA, California, part motherfucking 2, without that straight.
We back right here with Tupac, you know, just chopping up a little bit. What's going on with Dre, and how does that affect Death Row as a whole, in the whole nut?
Dre's doing his own thing. It don't affect us.
When I saw an engineer get beat down, or we rewinding the tape too far, you know, that was like, okay, what are we doing here?
Dre came to me and said, look, this isn't working anymore. The relationship was obviously over. Suge really wanted to end it, and so did Dre.
I said, Jimmy, if you want him, he can go with you, but he just leave with the shirt on his back. I ain't no pimp, but I know about him. I ain't never seen a pimp let a motherfucker hoe leave, and he tell the prostitute, take the jewelry, take your clothes, and don't forget the money. At the end of the day, everybody knows Dre's a hoe.
As far as Dr. Dre goes, been there, done that, I'm through with it.
In July 1996, Nas dropped his album, It Was Written, and on his opening track, The Message, Nas said,
Fake thug, no love, you get the slug. CB4 Gusto got stitched up and went through, left the hospital that same night.
We know when Tupac got shot at Quad Studios, he left the hospital the same night. Pac felt Nas was subliminally dissing him, so he responded with Against All Odds.
This little nigga named Nas think he live like me. You talk about he left the hospital, took fire like me. You live in fantasies, nigga, I reject your deposit.
And also on the same album, another track called Street Dreams. The beat sounds very similar to Tupac's All Eyes on Me, which was released 4 months earlier.
I bet you got it twisted, you don't know who to trust.
My man put me up for the share, 1/4 of a square.
Coincidence or not, they eventually met each other at the 1996 MTV Video Music Awards. Against All Odds was not yet released.
All right, still hanging out at the after party, and with me from Death Row.
Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur.
First of all, can you tell us what you actually thought about the actual rap category?
Dealing with wars, what do you think about that? He got an album out there, he sold 6 million records.
Can we talk about Death Row East? What is exactly happening, and what can we expect from it?
You believe in God?
Certainly.
Believe in Death Row East. Believe in that, for real. That's it right there. Believe in God, believe in Death Row East. We plan to take the same strategy we use with Death Row West, which is mind over matter, taking all our weaknesses and making it into our strength. We got the ways to make them use their talent to the maximum effect, and that's what this is about. Everybody rap. We don't rap. We rap to make money. We do business. Ain't no other record company out there that sold as many records as we did. We outsold Bad Boy, LaFace, every black record label out there, we outsold them in 1 year. And I'm a convict, and my homeboy just got off a murder case. So that tells you that it's pure talent. So Death Row East is gonna be a personification of what we did on the west side. We're gonna do it to the east side, and we're gonna prove once and for all that all these people talking about an East Coast, West Coast war, they like the Judas was to Jesus. They only here to cause confusion. We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago, because we've been beat these. There ain't nothing but opportunity, and the opportunity is overthrow the government y'all got right now, which is Bad Boy and Nas and all that bullshit, and we will bring a new government here that will feed every person in New York.
Cool, man. All right, man. Peace. Thanks a lot. Take care. Peace.
Right after this interview took place, a confrontation happened between Tupac's Death Row camp and the Nas Queensbridge crew. Death Row made their intentions very clear with the launch of Death Row East. They came to take over, and New York was not going to let it slide. Tension was in the air as both sides were ready to get down. Anything could happen at this point. This moment in time was the peak of the Nas versus Tupac beef.
After you see that interview with me and him and Pac, and you believe in God, believe in Death Row East? Right. But after the interview, we walking through the park, and it just so happened Nas' song was playing.
The situation didn't go down nothing the way Snoop said it. To be honest, bro, I don't recall Snoop being there.
Snoop wasn't even next to us when that happened.
You know, Pac wasn't cursing out Nas. We gonna keep it 100. You know what I mean? Pac wasn't disrespecting Nas at all. You know, I know Snoop said Pac punked Nas and then went to Snoop and said, "You see how I got these New York dudes?" None of that happened, bro. It was a mutual respect thing. We was deep with 30 Jersey dudes, 30, 40 dudes probably alone from my neighborhood, and then you got Gaddafi, Fatal, Noblehood. They was there deep. We were strapped up, you know what I mean? We in New York.
Deep is understatement. You know what I'm saying? We was like an army.
It was a mutual thing. Nobody was backing down. Nas was deep. You know, he had all his homies there. We was deep. We also had dudes from LA, from Compton. Then we had armed security there. We was armed ourselves, you know what I mean? We was strapped up ourselves.
I was 19 at the time. That was 96, you feel me? I'm 19. We outside with Pac, Suge, and all of them. You know niggas ready to do whatever. Niggas know they got bail money. Niggas like, yo, it's going down. You feel me?
But of course, when you're in New York, Nas, I'm sure his boys are strapped up.
And here they was coming. And we coming. So once we met in the middle.
When Pac and Nas met each other, it was nobody talking disrespect from both sides. Maybe the people behind Nas and the people behind Pac was mean mugging, saying certain things, but Pac and Nas handled it like real gentlemen, real, you know what I mean? Real respectful. It wasn't like Snoop said that Pac was like, to Nas, I do this and do it. It was none of that.
Snoop was lying because Snoop was on some scared shit, but we ain't know that because him and Pac and Dre was going through whatever they was going through.
It was really taught like, look, bro, what's the misunderstanding? Nas was like, bro, I never did. I got love for you. Pac was like, I got love for you. I never wanted us to go through this situation. And then Pac literally told him, he said, look, I got songs dissing you.
Pac said, I got my album coming out, some things on there that you ain't gonna like.
When I go back to LA, I'm gonna remove every verse that I mention your name in. But Pac couldn't do it because he passed away. So it wasn't like, you know what I mean, Pac was trying to disrespect Nas. It definitely wasn't the way Snoop said it. Once again, I don't know why he keep putting his spin on it, you know what I mean? You know, I wish somebody can ask him that, like, bro, you said this, but other people, why are you putting that spin on it? You know what I mean? What Nas and Pac did that day, you know, for dudes from the hood, they showed us that it can be done without going to, you know, we come from the hood, we think everything should be settled with violence. You understand? So what Pac and Nas did that day, you know, they was older than us. They showed us, look, bro, you don't always got to go to violence. We just handle it. They shook hands, hugged.
They handled it like men. He said what he said. He said what he said. They shook hands, hugged.
So I think that was one of the most positive things that ever happened in hip hop.
They had a conversation, which was good. It was needed. I think that conversation they had squashed everything, truthfully.
It was beautiful, but it wasn't like Snoop said. I don't remember Snoop being there, definitely. I don't remember Snoop being there at all. Unless he was like in the cut somewhere, like, you know what I mean? When nobody saw him but him, but I don't remember him being there.
So Snoop, was he looking at least from a distance, or he just was nowhere?
I ain't see him.
And everything he said, it shows that he wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, once again, he's putting this, he's doing this agenda with making it seem like Pac is just this Like he the stuff that he's saying would make you think like, did Pac even have a brain? You know what I mean? Like and it seemed like it's just a sly way to keep putting Pac down. You know what I mean? Any interview he do, you know, he probably thinking like nobody gonna come after me and correct me. You know, but definitely wasn't like that. You know what I mean? And I remember he also said like, cause he's a gang member. This is his words. You know what I mean? Similar to I'm a gang member, and Nas really gave Pac like a pass, and I'm sitting back and I noticed, no, he said, no, bro, Nas really punked you. Something like that, you know what I mean? Once again, bro, we was wild Jersey dudes. You know what I mean? We understand threats. You ain't the only one that's from the hood or from the street that understand threat. We understand threats. Pac understand threat. We know if it was a situation out of control that we was in danger, we would have did whatever it takes to be protect ourselves.
You know what I mean? Luckily ain't nothing transpired.
You know what I mean? So once again, none of that is true, bro. Nas also corrected and said that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Shout out to Nas.
I heard Snoop told the story a few times, but he had it wrong a little bit.
Because it was actually a good thing. Like, why take something negative, positive, and make it, and just gotta put that dirt on it? You know what I mean? This doesn't make sense, bro. From that day, like the respect level that I had for Nas, it just was like, man, this dude, you know what I mean? He walked up to Pac, like, and this, you know, it was the respect was there, and Pac even respected him, and you know, after that, even more. I mean, Pac always respected Nas.